Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. My name is Paul Sanneman. I'm your host. I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help construction companies build great teams. Phil Risher is it right? Risher? Am I got it right or close?
It's Risher, like Fisher with an
Risher.
R.
Oh, okay. Phil Risher. That's the hardest part about these podcasts, get the name straight. From Phlash Consulting. So, Phil, tell about how you got where you are and what you guys do.
Yeah, Phlash Consulting. We work with local home service businesses all across the country and Canada. We help them increase their sales, keep their schedules full using technology, marketing, automation. I used to work in the trades 6 years ago. I was at a duct cleaning company, helped them scale from 3 million to 5 million, sell to private equity. And that same blueprint, we basically take it out and help other businesses do the same.
Okay. What does that blueprint look like?
What is that? What?
Blueprint look like? You said you have sort of the same blueprint. What does
Yep.
that blueprint look like?
Yeah, so we have we call it the Phlash customer journey. Basically, there's three pillars to it of a good marketing plan. There's visibility, so you have to have people have to know about you. There's conversions. Once they know about you, they turn into a lead, and ultimately you need to convert them into a sale. And then there's retargeting. You have to invite them to come back into your funnel. So those three things, from a marketing perspective, there's things we can dive into on each channel, but those are the three main pillars that any good home service business has some remnants of those three things: visibility, conversions, retargeting.
So let's go through this. How do you increase visibility? And I ask a question. There's a lot of people that say it's all about SEO. Oh, some people say it's pay per click. So how do you see those two ways of doing it? Which is more important than the other, or how do you tell?
Yeah, for sure. So any podcast that you listen to, they're going to interview a marketing person and they're going to say the same thing: SEO versus PPC versus websites. It's all the same with marketing people. I'm not a marketing guy, I'm in the home services. I own a marketing company, but like at the end of the day, I want to get sales. I don't care about website visitors and impressions and all those foo-foo stats. I want to get to the actual sales. So when it comes to visibility, what does that mean? It means getting people that are ready to buy your product or service onto your website or calling your business or turning into a lead that's local. If you're in New York, you don't care about people from California. It's all about the local traffic. So some of the strategies to look at are local SEO, not just SEO, search engine optimization, but how do you hyper focus on a local market? That's can be your on-site SEO, so like optimizing your website for search, off-site SEO, like optimizing your Google Business Profile and other things for search, running localized ads, whether that's Google local service ads, Google search ads, Facebook. I'll tell you one honey hole one, Paul. It's like having B2B partners in your local market, business to business referral partners in your local market is a game changer. So that duct cleaning company that I told you about, they were at $3 million. They had 30 Google reviews and they were at $3 million. And the
Wow.
way that they did it was all through B2B partnerships. They were doing duct cleaning and then partner with HVAC contractors. And we built this whole referral partner program that they would just get referrals in and didn't have to fight hand-to-hand combat for all the deals. So when we talk about visibility, there's a lot of different strategies. There's the basic ones you think of when you come to marketing. But at the end of the day, it's just all about good traffic leads to good leads, leads to more sales.
So how do you get those? Like, let's say I'm a remodeling company, or I'm an HVAC company, or how do I get relationships with other people? Like, say I'm an HVAC company. How who else who would be a good partner for an HVAC company to send me potential leads?
Yeah, great question. So the answer to this hits all four parts: visibility, conversions, retargeting, and I'll walk you through what that looks like. Let's say you're an HVAC contractor. 9 times out of 10, when you're in the home, people are going to ask you, do you do tankless water heaters? Could you help me? I need a generator. I'm getting a new electric vehicle. I need a EV charger put in. Those types of bigger ticket questions that come up are your perfect referral partners. You don't do this service, but people ask you about this service. So who can you work with and maybe even get a cut of the pie without actually doing the work? Like if I give you this, maybe give me 10% of the deal, vice versa. So that's the first thing is seeing who are good referral partners for you. Exterior is the same thing. If you do lawn care, all the people that do gutters, siding, patios, hardscape, they could be referring you business. So it's kind of thinking about those complementary businesses. How do you find those people? You think of them first, then you can go to Google and you can go and type in that company, and then you have a whole list of people and you can easily just call them and say, hey, if you're HVAC, do you all do HVAC work? No, we don't. Do you have a company that you partner with that you can refer business out to? No, we don't. Cool. Well, I would like to set up a meeting with you to discuss a partnership of how we could work together. That's a very hand-to-hand combat type of
Right.
thing. You could also just go to Fiverr or some other platform and have them build a list for you of all the HVAC contractors, all the electrical contractors in your area with the decision maker's email and phone number. And you could send them a mass email or have someone in your team call them and set up meetings for you to build a referral partnership. That's kind of like the first part of visibility of how you can get them. Now, the second piece of this is how do you actually build a relationship with them and have them give you leads, like turn into a referral partner? What we did with the Duckling Company, what we do for clients and what we recommend is you create a landing page on your website for flashconsulting.com/contractor. And on that page, you have where they could submit a referral. Maybe they could even schedule an appointment for their client. You have frequently asked questions that you typically get so they can educate themselves. And then maybe even like reviews or testimonials so that they could be encouraged to refer you business. Basically, you want to give them a landing page that they can go to that makes it very easy for them to submit a referral to you. And more importantly, you know that that referral came to them. So if you want to give them a cut or something back in, saying thank you, you have this platform for them. So that's like the two parts. And then the last part, this is, to be honest, this is where a lot of people miss the mark, is retargeting. It's so exciting. You talk to them, they're going to refer you business. You create a page for them to go to, and then, you barely get any leads out of it because you don't really have a partnership with them. This is why retargeting is so important. And what we recommend and what we do is we build an email newsletter that we send to all the B2B referral partners on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis that keeps you top of mind. And it's all about, hey, when you go to your client's house to do your fall inspections for HVAC, if there's a musty odor in their basement, they may need basement waterproofing or whatever that sounds like. It's basically arming them with things, staying top of mind, reminding them that it's very easy to send us a referral. You just go here. And it's building that relationship. So those are kind of those three pieces. You create the visibility, you create it, make it easier for them to convert, and then you create a retargeting opportunity so that you stay top of mind with them.
And what I was to say, Phil, also, if you're on a local basis, again, this doesn't work nationally, but and you're an HVAC company, and let's say you're working with a, like you said, a ducting company, like, or somebody that is a complementary business. I think probably even getting to know the owner can't hurt, right? And taking the lines, building some kind of personal relationship with the referral partner.
You're absolutely right. I was just on a call this morning with one of the companies that we work with, and we helped them build 20 referral partners, but they haven't got any leads from it. So I'm like, okay, well, who did you talk to at this company? Who was the relationship with? And to your point, you might build a relationship with the owner. You might build a relationship with the customer service manager. But to take this to the next level, and this is what we coach them to do, was go do a lunch and learn or donuts, whatever, on a Tuesday when they have their tech meeting and everyone's there, drop off donuts and spend 15, 20 minutes educating their technicians on why they should refer you in. Take that landing page and make a little QR code and pass it out to all them, have them save that QR code and say, hey, do you want to make $250 this week extra? All you have to do is send us 5 extra deals, $50 per deal. You could do that every single week and make an extra $250 just by doing your job. And here's how you do it. So to your point, yeah, it's good to build a relationship with the owner, but it's also good to build a relationship with the team that's going to be referring you business.
Right. And so I would say pretty much anybody in the service industry can make a list of affiliates or referral partners, right? And they can focus on that list. I think, I use the same thing. I just a similar thing with architects sending contractors work. I built a lot of businesses in construction from 2 to 25, 30 million. I did all with architects because most contractors won't call on architects. And you do, they said they already have a girlfriend and it's not you. But if over a while it works. So I totally agree with the affiliate program. And I think that's something, an opportunity a lot of people are missing out on. We get almost all of our clients from affiliates. That's what I've learned to do in my industry. So making a list, coming up with a specific way to get to them, get them to send you people. Because once it works, it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? They just keep sending you people.
That's right. And that's what we tell people is like on that visibility side, okay, HVAC, you get a call for HVAC and it's very hand-to-hand combat trying to sell this deal, why should we choose you, back and forth. You have a whole CSR call center. When you build a referral partner, it's, as we all know, referrals are just warm leads coming into your business and they're going to do work with you anyways. You just got to make it easy for them to schedule. So it's much less friction and trying to sell and look at, fight for all these deals. It's just getting, jobs on the board basically.
Right. Okay. So that's one thing. Now, what's the second pillar?
Yeah. So conversions. Now this is a big one. When I helped this company go from 3 million to 5 million, we have other examples like another company went from 2 to 4 million, all just by optimizing for conversion. So usually with these companies, it's like we have good visibility, we have good rankings on Google, we have website traffic, but the traffic that we're getting to our website is not converting into leads, or we're getting so many leads, but we're not actually having a lead management process. So what does that mean? What we found is that websites for home service businesses should convert at 10% of website traffic into leads. If you get 100 people to your website, you should get 10 leads from that. That's a pretty good number. We have clients that get 20, 30% conversion rates because we set up these conversion tools, and I'll tell you what some of those conversion tools are. The first one is every single website should have a chat widget, and the chat widget should convert into a text message. The reason this is so important is because someone comes to your website, they don't know if you do this service, they don't know if you do it in this area, they have questions, and they're not going to go digging through your website trying to find the answer. They do 90% of their research offline. They get referred in, they read your reviews, they say, okay, I think I want to work with this company. They go to your website, they want a nice picture with a logo on it, and then they want to ask you a question or turn into a customer. So a chat widget we've seen will convert 2 to 3% more of your website traffic into leads. The
And
other
can that be
thing,
done by AI, or does a real person have to do it?
so ideally what we recommend is having it so that it takes it from the chat widget and then turn it right into a text message. So it takes it offline and then turns it into a lead directly. You could obviously have AI and all this other stuff, but what we found is if you want to get that conversion right away, because if someone comes to your thing and they chat in and it's AI and they're like, I don't know if this is a real person, if they're going to actually answer my question, they're going to leave your site and then you lost the lead forever. So you want to try to convert it as quickly as possible. Another really good one is having an estimate calculator on your website. This could be something like if you're an HVAC, or we did this with an electrical contractor that went from 2 to 4 million. Basically, we built an estimate calculator that says an EV charger. Okay, I'm a residential customer is one of the selections, residential or commercial. What service are you looking for? EV charger, and what zip code are you located in? They fill out, a couple different questions. They click get estimate, and it gives them a range like, okay, it's gonna be $500 to $1,500. And then it texts them and says, do you have any additional information or pictures that you could share to help narrow down your estimate? So basically, people, when they come to your website, they want to know two things: how much is it going to cost, and when can you do it? So if you can make those things very easy for them, whether it's online scheduling, estimate calculator, this is what I mean by conversions. It's not just getting people to your website, it's about converting them into a lead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and what about offering them, like, how to choose a whatever, like the client? Some people offer various fairly objective how-to books on how to choose an HVAC guy, how to choose a remodeler, whatever. Did offering things like that help at all?
Yeah, what we found is that with higher ticket items, the remodels, the roofing and stuff, people do a lot more homework and education. So it's more top of the funnel type of stuff where it's educational content. It's not like, oh, I need to install this EV charger. Who can I do it? And when can I do it? It's right. It's a lot more
Right.
educational piece. So to your point, of course, that's a lot more top of the funnel. There's a lot more nurturing that has to go on before you get to those bottom of the funnel. Like, I need a roof on my house today because it's leaking everywhere.
Right.
So yeah, those work good. The next parts of conversions that we found is that there's a huge issue with lead management. A lot of people think they have a lead problem, but it's really a lead management problem. It rains and you get a ton of leads, but you can't manage them. It's hot and you got a bunch of no AC calls and you can't manage all the leads. So ideally, you have some type of a lead management nurture sequence that's happening. So that way, when you get a lead at 10 p.m. and you call them back at 8 a.m. on Monday morning and they don't answer, what happens? When I was at the duct cleaning company, all the leads would go into Outlook, and then our CSRs would print them out and stick them on their desk like this. And then they would call them and they wouldn't answer, and they'd write LM, like left message. And then they would go the next day and like do a check mark of how many left messages. Very manual process. Now you can automate a lot of those processes. Most companies don't have a sequence for that. It's just like, the CSR is like, I called them, they didn't answer. Okay, that's it. So when I talk about conversions, it's about how do we get people to come through that funnel to get sales is really the most important part.
So if you don't do it yourself, there are companies that actually can hire to do that for you, right?
Automate those sales processes.
Also, they go to call the people for you. I know I had a podcast with a guy who his company is sort of rent a CSR thing, right? And so they're 24/7. So when somebody calls in, they get a real person trying to close them on an appointment.
Exactly. So any like CSR type of company, now they actually have AI CSR companies out there that like, answer for you. You can build these chat bots and all this stuff. The most important thing, whether they fill out a form and then this AI CSR thing calls them or something, is that you have a process to manage these leads and to work them through your funnel. A lot of companies don't have anything like that.
Okay. So the key to conversion is having a process that works, right?
It's having the right call to actions So that way, when someone does fill out a form or does something, they have the ability to turn into a lead. Because a lot of times your contact form, your calls get buried on your website. But then once they turn into a lead, you have a process that's going to nurture these people into a booked appointment, into a sale. Same thing with estimate to sale. You send an estimate. Do you have a sequence to nurture that estimate and then get the sale as well?
Now, some people are afraid, well, if I call them 3 times, I'm going to offend them or whatever. Where is that line between being persistent and being a pain in the ass? I guess it's probably the wrong word, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Being
yeah.
who you really like, look, they called me 5 times. I'll call you when I need you. Goodbye, click. So how do you know that line when it comes to like follow-up? How do you tell?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's two ways to look at it. Like if someone is contacting you, clearly they have a problem and you don't know the extent of what that problem is. Like, hey, I really genuinely want to make sure that you got this taken care of. And I've tried to reach out to you, not sure if your phone was off or what. One of the big things that I would recommend is there was a stat, it said 70% of businesses only reach out using one channel. So what that means is like they only call the people, they don't actually email them, text them, and call them. So a lot of people will pick like I'm a text guy. I want people to text me. I don't want them to call me or email me. So if
Right.
you hit them up in different channels, hopefully one of those ways that's going to be the preferred mode of communication. To your point though, yeah, of course you don't want to be annoying. What we usually tell people, and it depends on the actual service. Like if someone contacts you for no heat and you want to hit them hard for the first day, clearly they're going to get it taken care of if they have no heat or no AC. If it's something that's more like, oh, I got an estimate for duct cleaning and it just kind of lingers and they never get back to you. Usually what we say is like over 7 days to 14 days process. You could follow up with them. Now, there's a really big caveat to this, which is the retargeting part of it. We send out we send out hundreds of thousands of email newsletters every single month. And one in particular that comes to mind, we just sent it out for a client last week. And this person, they do custom closets and wardrobes remodeling. Well, they did an email about a custom home office. And this person reached back out to them from that email and said, hey, I reached out to you guys to do a custom closet in my master bedroom a year ago, but it wasn't the right timing and I went with a different vendor. But I didn't know that you do home offices and I need a new home office, and they signed a contract for $20,000. So to
Mhm.
your point, like, you don't want to hit them over the head too hard, but you also need to make sure you have a nurture sequence on the other side to cross-sell services and to bring them back into your funnel potentially.
Well, I worked with a coaching company once and they said, well, you do it's 3 emails, 3 phone calls, and 3 texts over a week. If that doesn't work, you can give up, right? But to
Yeah.
me, that wasn't reasonable, right? I mean, that's at least give it a shot.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I also think every business is a little different. Like you might get objection every single time on price. So you need to really push the value proposition in the beginning side of it. Like, let me tell you about our company. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews. So you might hit them up with a lot of nurture stuff and then hit them hard with like closing. It just all depends on what your business is.
Okay. So let's talk. The third pillar is retargeting, right? That's the third pillar.
That's correct.
So you talked about newsletter. Any other way to retarget other than newsletters, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would say the best one is through text message marketing. The reason that text message marketing works so well, and this is why it's important to have your initial conversations with texting as well, because you open up that channel of communication. With an email, you might get 30% open rates, 20% open rates, something like that. With a text, you get 95, 100% open rates, especially if you've already texted with these people before. It allows you to text them with a special offer or something to retarget them. So like what we do is usually we'll have those shoulder seasons, winter time or some lulls in the season, and we'll send a text out to all the customers and say, hey, we have a promo going on right now for $25 off for X, Y, and Z. Let me know if you want me to stick one aside from you, or we're going to be in your neighborhood next week servicing one of your neighbors. Since we're going to be there, we're offering a $25 discount so we don't have to pay for gas. Do you have any electrical things that you need taken care of or whatever? So texting is a huge way to re-engage your customer base. I mentioned about the company that went from 3 million to 8 million. They're an HVAC contractor. We did it all from retargeting. And a big focus on that was cross-selling services. And it was like they do HVAC, but then they brought in an electrical division. So now let's cross-sell generators. And we have a good saying, like you can't get lifetime value without a lifetime relationship. So you don't want to be blowing people up with text every week about getting a new generator, obviously, to your
Right.
point. But You could always just, pick up your phone and send someone a text like, "Hey, it's Phil. We did the HVAC work for you last spring. Just checking in to see how everything's holding up. We're getting ready for fall inspections and wanted to get your schedule." Like,
Right.
you could do that
Now,
manually.
some people will paranoid of text because there's some rules out there that say if you don't have permission to text somebody, you text them, it's like 5,000 a text, some incredible fine. So how does that work?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is why I prefaced what I just said with, when you start the conversation on the initial intake, someone fills out a web form on your website and they acknowledge that when they fill out this form, they're going to get a text from you. It says, they get a text, maybe they communicate a little bit via text, then 6 months, a year later, now you have permission to text them. You can't just go, pull a list and text people. Obviously, that's illegal. There's a law that came out. It's called A2P authentication, where you actually have to register your mass text phone numbers with the government in order to send out text messages. So you don't want to just blast out text because you're going to get reported with spam and you're going to spend $5,000 per text. But if you have permission to text people, which is why, again, it's important to have all the conversion sequences incorporating text. When you do text someone, it goes a long way.
So when somewhere in the terms of agreement and something, if they click a box or something that says, yes, I give you permission to text me, that covers you, that you then have permission to text them, right?
Yeah, that's right. One of the things that we look at is like, before A2P was usually customers that are working with you. If you text them like, "Hey, this is Phil, I'm the owner. I just want to make sure you have a great experience with us." That is like a normal text that you would get from someone that you're not going to report it as spam and say, "Oh, leave me alone." So I would say, permission it's pretty cut and dry now, but there's also room for interpretation about, you're my client, I'm communicating with you, is texting okay? And they're going to say, yeah.
Okay. So it's a great method, but you should make sure you follow the rules to do it, right?
Exactly. Now, with retargeting emails, that's a great way to do email communication. There's two parts with email communication. You want to have a great subject line. So there's subject line testers out there that's going to give you a good open rate. And then inside of the email, you need to have call to actions. So what we recommend is have a monthly newsletter that goes out to all your customers. And inside of that newsletter, you could cross-sell different services. You could pull in one of your best performing social media posts. You could pull in a customer testimonial. You could pull in a recent blog post or things to do in your local area. And then you send that out. You could also do like promo ones, like a very strong call to action, like in the subject line, get $25 off right now, end of the month special.
So the question for you, Phil, is does your newsletter have a call to action in it, or is an email behind the newsletter that has a call to action?
Both. What we recommend is like in your email newsletter, they're opening it, interacting with your business. So you got to always be asking like, "Hey, get an estimate for your spring, whatever, refer us to someone else." Highly recommend having call to actions in there for sure.
Okay, cool. So this is a lot of good information. Phil, if people want to get a hold of you, is like the first call free? You look at what they're doing. How do they start to be engaged with you?
Yeah, our company does free marketing audits. What that means is we hop on a call for 30 minutes. We pull all of your website, all your information from like, how are you ranking? We walk through that customer journey that we just talked about your business. So we look at like, what are you doing for this? What's this look like? Here's some areas of opportunity. And our whole kind of philosophy is like, give the recipe, sell the cooking kind of thing. So we're all about just adding value. We have, YouTube channel and all this stuff. So the first place is like, set up a marketing audit. We get together and talk about your business.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, Phil. If people want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
Yeah, so you can go to phlashconsulting.com. It's PHLASH consulting.com. And it says discuss your business. Fill that out, and then we hop on a call.
Great. Well, I would say if you are a local service business and you don't give Phil a call, at least look at his options. That's just not being smart. So in my opinion, give Phil a call. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.